7 large language models are about to compete live to show us which one is the best at creative ideas and marketing. Now, we're doing this because Claude just dropped Haiku 4.5, and I want to know which one really is the best one at creative marketing. Which one should we use? Best of all, I've assembled an absolute set of creative legends to be the judges. We're talking Schwartz, Ogilvy, Hopkins, and Halbert. Yes, I put together their creative AI counterparts to be the judges for us. Now, I have no idea who's going to win. I haven't done any setup before this, so let's see if AI can actually think as good as creative directors like these legends. Here's how this is going to work. Each AI gets exactly the same brief, and they all have exactly the same context. I've turned off memory, so all of them are working from a blank slate. Then our panel of AI creative judges are going to score them blind because they don't know which AI actually came up with the results. There's no do-overs, there's no cherry picking of the responses. This is as real as it gets with testing this stuff out. So, first up, let's show you the actual models that we're going to test here. We've got Haiku 4.5, the most recent one. Super excited on this one. We've got Sonnet 4.5, the sort of big brother, the kind of Mac Daddy, if you will, from Claude today. We've got the throwback, so Sonnet 4, kind of what has historically been until kind of a month ago, the core kind of model for creative. Now we're also throwing in ChatGPT 5. I personally think it's going to be terrible, but I won't bias you. We'll ultimately see what the judges say. We're also doing a throwback for ChatGPT 4.0 because this was one that people previously really liked. And then there's 2 surprises in here. So within Rayleon, I'm also going to show Kimi K2, which is a specialized model that's actually been trained for creative. And then I also have, which one is it? I've also got Llama's 3.3 70 billion parameter one from Meta, which has also been trained for creative. So those are our 7 models. Let's go ahead and kick all these off and begin to look at the results here together. All right, so we're going to kick this off, this one, this one, this one, this one, and Rayleon, and then I actually already ran Llama. So for context, actually, we'll get back here. All right, Haiku, holy smoke. Haiku is already done. That was fast. Sonnet 4.5 still working, 4 still working, just started on GPT-5, just started on GPT 4.0, Rayleon still working. So a couple things here, even as we're waiting. What's really fascinating is part of what Claude did with Haiku is they actually made the model really, really, really fast. And actually, we even saw this now just in the results where Haiku finished before all of them, finished. And in fact, Haiku actually finished almost before ChatGPT 5 even got started. So from a speed standpoint, that's actually pretty awesome. Now, one thing, so the Llama model specifically, I have a local machine, kind of AI machine, and that's an open source model. So I actually ran that one locally, nicely tuned. So we'll kind of review those results, as we go through this. But I ran that one ahead just so that way I could put it in here easily. But let's start going through the results. We're going to take a look at it ourselves first, and then we're going to feed it all to our AI judges here. So we've got the sizing rant. Here's the concept. Tired of choosing between baggy or too tight. Here's the deal. Medium actually means medium now. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. My wife actually noticed. It's not about looking fancy. It just fits like it was made for you. Grab the crew neck, like it. Ever notice your closet is full of t-shirts? Oh, sorry, I forgot. Just as a context setter here. So we use True Classic as the brand that we're testing this on. We did that for 2 reasons. One, if you look at our last episode, I actually walked everybody through how to set up ChatGPT and Claude with really good context. And we use True Classic as an example. So I wanted to kind of continue from that one. So you can take a look at that if you want to know how to do it yourself. 2, all the LLMs tend to have a pretty good understanding as well of True Classic. So I thought it would be a really good baseline to test with. Okay, so right, back in. So campaign 3, ever notice your closet is full of shirts that you don't actually wear? That's actually really good. Most guys. 1 wash and it's ruined, not anymore. Pre-shrunk, reinforced. That's funny. I would actually say it is not pre-shrunk. I'm a fan of True Classic. I like their shirts. Their shirts still shrink. That's an aside. But anyway, more than $8, less than 80 actually fits. These are good. Honestly, these are really good from Haiku. Like I'm actually really, really impressed and surprised. Okay, time to look at 4.5. Large is too wide, medium is too short. Actually fits. That's really good. Still fits after 50 washes. Interesting, similar theme, and that's because of the context. When your wife actually notices, these fit you like you had tailored. That's actually that's solid. I don't know if that matches the persona for True Classic, but that's pretty solid. These are good. Sick of looking like you borrowed your dad's clothes. That's awesome. Find your size. These CTAs are really good too. Okay. Sonnet's 4.5 is good. Honestly, Haiku 4.5 is looking good. Let's check out Sonnet 4. One thing that's actually interesting here too, if you notice the formatting in 4.5 and Haiku, I actually like Haiku's formatting best. It even actually has a special artifact that it used that the other ones didn't use. That's actually really interesting and nice. But all right, let's look at Sonnet 4. So the formatting, this is annoying. Large too wide, medium too short, very similar. Tired of shirts trending into crop tops. Okay, interesting humor there. Finally, a white tee that actually works. Kind of off on that one. Borrowed your dad's clothes, similar fitted through the body, relaxed through the shoulders. It's funny. Sonnet 4 is actually a little more generic as compared to 4.5 and Haiku 4.5. So not totally surprising across Claude. It's fairly consistent. I don't know. I'd be curious. You all can put in the comments which ones that you're liking best. But honestly, Haiku 4.5 is way, way better than I expected. Almost on par with Sonnet 4.5 on the creative side, in my opinion. Now let's look here. All right, so ChatGPT 5, how are you doing? Tired of shirts at 5 back. New logo, you're new to go. What? I don't even understand. Your new go-to for didn't try. That one doesn't even make any sense to me. Shrinkage, not in this house. Okay, that's not bad. Baggy or belly hugging, neither. Okay, that one's actually, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Ours actually fit. It's fun. Like if you look at this, and you can kind of even see it in terms of how ChatGPT has laid this out. This is the problem with ChatGPT 5, right? It's very it's so AI, right? It's the same framework, it's the same format. I mean, even if you look at this, the structure that it's following, and this is not because of the context, it's just ChatGPT 5. You've got M dashes everywhere. It's very structured. It's very sort of bland. This is part of why, many people, myself included, often say, don't use ChatGPT 5 for copywriting. It does not do a good job. It's very bot-like. Especially when you compare it to Sonnet 4.5 or even Haiku that we were just looking at. These are much more on brand and thoughtful. All right, but we'll let the judge be the judge. So 4.0, not your dad's tee, the fit fix. 4.0 is actually better than I would have expected. Not see-through. Again, this is also why people were upset when it came to the new model of ChatGPT 5 and when they removed 4.0 is because if they were using 4.0 for copywriting, it is much better than ChatGPT 5 is for copywriting. Call out biggest annoyances. These are pretty decent. 1 T, 1 compliment, 1 confident dude. That's actually a pretty good one. That might be one of my favorites. Okay, 4.0. Okay, but I'd say still overall not as good as Claude, in my opinion. All right, let's take a look at Kimi K2, a specialty model. So, and again, if you're not familiar with Kimi K2, it's not available from the big guys. It's sort of a more independent model. It does have an open source version, which is really cool that you can run locally. But we've got a specialty version hosted, within the Raelion product, which is kind of how we ran it here. So let's see. Finally, shirts that get your body. This is actually good. Tailored shoulders, room for everything else. I don't get where the 100 days to prove it came from. That's interesting. This is a good one. 3 premium tees, less than 1 designer shirt. Same quality, 0 pretense, your wallet stays happy. That's a really good one. Get your 3-pack. That's actually solid. This is probably my favorite so far. That's actually really good. Kimi K2 coming out. That's awesome. Tired of choosing between baggy or sausage. I think Kimi K2 might actually be my favorite so far, which I was not expecting. Awesome. That one looked great. Okay, let's take a look at Llama. The formatting on this was better when it was in kind of my local LLM. I just dropped it into comment to make it easy to look at. So, title, ditch the guesswork. Find your perfect fit with your classic data. Okay. Let's see. Tired of shirts that let you down. That's super boring and generic. Where's our next title? Wear your confidence. You'll forget you're wearing them. I don't know. Say goodbye to baggy or too tight. Okay, that one's actually on brand. No BS, just great fitting. What does that even mean? Okay, I would say my least favorite is actually Meta's Llama 3.3 70 billion parameter model. Okay, so we've gone through them. You've seen them. Now it's time for our judges to be to rate us out here. All right. Okay. We have all of our judges lined up here. So what I went ahead and did, because I didn't want to, again, bias the judge, I put this in the same exact order. So you can see we've got our special ad, and direct response copywriting judges. They're teed up. I've got special context set up for it. And my request is to analyze all these meta ad suggestions, give your overall assessment, and then rate it on a scale from 0 to 10, with 10 being the best. I've also asked them to be brutal. So this should be good. Okay, I'm going to tee up each one. So we're going to do you, and then you, and then you, and then you. And the order is important because the order matches the order before, so we didn't bias them. Okay, we got lots going. Oh, too many chats. Oh, all right, hang on. All right, we're going to start. We'll go through it this way. Okay. So first, we're going to drum roll. Overall, let's say 6.5. Oof. Man, okay, so Haiku got a 6.5. We'll do it this way. We'll, actually, maybe we'll, no, okay, we'll do it this way. All right, 6.5. That's kind of rough. We're going to come back and see what feedback they gave. Okay, what did they, 5. Wow, so in this case, Sonnet 4.5 got a 5, I think it was. And then we'll review it all again. 4? Are you kidding me? 4, wow, okay. Now, oh, this one failed. Let's see if it works now. Oh, all right, hang on. Let's get this thing to work. Okay, we're going to drop it in here. Here we go. So this is ChatGPT 5. Before I dive in, no, I don't want you to be asking questions. Okay, 4.5. Lowest so far, 4.5. Oof, okay. Now let's get this other one going. We went too fast before, so okay, all right, so we got that. Yeah, more questions. And then we'll give it a second, run this one. And then, yeah, I know. We're gonna wait a second. Anthropic's throttling us, thinks we're spamming him. All right, and last one, we kind of are, but, all right, hang on. We're gonna just refresh this page. Here, we go here, that one, and go. All right, we'll get that one in a second. 4.5, that's rough. These guys are tough, man. Okay, hang with me. Oh, come on, work with me, Anthropic. Stop throttling me. We're doing this for science. Come on. Wait for it. Yes, this is Llama. Okay, I'm excited now. All right, we got this all rolling. Probably should have set this up ahead, but that's okay. I wanted it to be real time. I wanted you to enjoy this with 3, the lowest one. Ooh, okay. All right, so we're gonna do this so we know. So this is Llama. This is Kimi K2. I'm so surprised. I'm a little hurt. This is GPT-4o. This is GPT-5. And then, let's see. And this is Sonnet 4. This is Sonnet 4.5. And this is, what? Haiku. Wow, okay. So this is fascinating. Fascinating to me. So, Haiku actually won. From our expert judges, Haiku actually won. 6.5. Super odd. I'm actually really surprised. Like, I like the results, but I'm actually really surprised. So Haiku, Claude's most recent model, and the one that actually, and the one that's supposed to not be actually quite as good as Sonnet 4 in terms of how they tuned it for different things, is actually, according to our legendary copywriting and creative judges on the marketing side here, is actually the best model, which is really interesting. Okay, 5. So Sonnet 4.5 was second best at 5, I think. Yeah, Sonnet 4 was at 4, which is interesting. Now, this is really interesting to me. So if you compare ChatGPT 5, according to our expert judges, to Sonnet 4, they actually say that ChatGPT 5 is slightly better than Sonnet 4 at copywriting. Okay, that's interesting. 4.5, also from 4.0. So in this case, 4.0 and 5, it would actually say is the same. So that's interesting. We'll dig into it in terms of why here in a minute. And then we've got Kimi K2 was actually tied. It's funny. Yeah, we're going to dig in. So really, Kimi K2, 4.0, GPT-5 are all tied in terms of quality and performance, according to our judges here. And then the last one is Llama. Llama did the worst, which frankly I agree. So I feel like this is pretty good. I agree. Llama did the worst at 3 out of 10. Okay, let's take a look. So strengths, problem solution, specificity in campaign 4, social proof. Let's see what do they say the missed opportunities were. Not leading with a mechanism, weak CTAs, Okay. Campaign 5 is commodity thinking, no scarcity, no urgency, missing the emotional job. That is probably true. Okay. Let's take a look at this one. Identified real pain points. You kept it specific. What's actually interesting even here is there's more strengths identified. We've got 4 here, only 3 here. So I wonder if that's part of it. Presenting solutions, not twisting knives. That's interesting. Weak CTAs. Okay. Missing the proof layer. It's fair. No entry point for skeptics. Interesting. Okay. Now 4. So what was this one before? This was 5. So 4 is, we're getting low. Strength still. Use conversational language, confusing pain points with insights. That's probably fair. I did see that a little bit. Weak proof structure. Interesting. CTAs are invisible. Okay. So they hated the CTAs across the board so far, which is very, again, interesting. 4.5. This one actually has, so GPT-5, it actually has 4 strengths for whatever it's worth. 0 market research. Not selling to a specific consumer. Oh, interesting. So this one actually picked up the fact, and this is true, when we talked about it being robotic, GPT-5 being robotic, it missed all of the context it seemed to miss around our customer persona and our buyer, and the product. So I think they're spot on with this one. This is really interesting. Likewise, it was trying to be clever. Some of these were kind of meh. That's actually, so honestly, these are pretty spot on in terms of our experts so far. Brutally honest breakdown. So this was GPT-4o. Leveraging social proofs, product-specific claims. That's true. That's really true. Again, 4o had a couple good ones, but it was pretty generic overall. At 0 specificity. It was not specific. That's true. As compared to, especially on the Haiku side. Okay, Kimi K2. So this is where I'm really curious. It gave Kimi K2 a 4.5. That was actually my favorite. So shows how much I know compared to AI versions of Legends. So why did it say that it was not good? No big idea. Thanks. Where's the unique breakthrough? That's fair. Okay. Finally assured to get your body. That's funny. It didn't like this headline again. So this is why, for clarity, I am not a great copywriter, and you probably even see this in my video titles at times. But I actually thought this was really clever, and smart. But the value doesn't create desire. Interesting. So that's fair. Honestly, you know what? Hard to argue with the Legends here. I agree with them. I thought that was clever, but that alone did not create kind of desire. That's actually very true. Doesn't know why they need your shirt. You're selling features to people who haven't bought the problem. Yep, they're right. The problem isn't the designer shirt. Yep, they're spot on, honestly. These experts, man. AI Legends. Awesome. So that was Kimi K2. Now, a 3. I'm curious. Identify the problem. Tempted. So look, even on their 3, you got 10% right. That's brutal. So this is even you attempted pattern interruption. That's funny. So you attempted it, but you still did terrible. No specificity, weak, no proof mechanisms, boring CTA. Man, you're selling feature. Yep. It even went did it go all caps on the others? It did. That's funny. It didn't even go all caps on the others. It was upset. So our AI Legends, if you look at this, our AI Legends were offended. Look at this. They were offended, all caps offended at Llama's results. Okay. So what can we do with this information? One, I'm actually shocked. So I go back. I'm actually shocked. So what this says, according to our AI, our legendary AI judges, the Ogilvys of the world, the Halberts, and so on, they actually rate Haiku at 6.5. Now we're gonna do one thing really quick before we end here. One thing. So Haiku is the winner according to this. Let's go back through. So this is so we got 5 here. And then where are we? I missed it. Where's our score here? Here we go. 4. We missed it again. 4.5. So it's a 3-way tie. 4-way tie when it comes to to the middle of the pack. And I'll throw up a graphic here at the end for us. But then I'm going to make really quick. So if you want, this is what we're seeing here. So if you want the best model for creative marketing and copywriting, what our judges have actually shown us, and frankly, looking through it, it's good, I tend to agree, is that Haiku is actually the best model now at creative marketing and copywriting. So if you want to do that for your e-commerce brand, for your retail brand, Haiku is the model to use. The second best is actually Sonnet 4.5. It got the second highest rating. And then after that, it's pretty much the same across the board. You've got GPT, 4, GPT-5 and 4.0. 4.0 is actually better, but GPT 4.0 did well. Kimi K2, I personally would say was actually pretty strong. I would put it close to our Sonnet 4.5 level. It did a really nice job there, but according to our legendary judges here, Scott 4.5. So at the end of it, that's our result. Okay, here's your tier list right here. Haiku, Sonnet 4.5, Kimi K2, GPT 4.0, GPT-5, Sonnet 4. That's one I tend to disagree with, but we'll cover that in a different one. And then Llama, last place at a 3. Worse, they literally yelled, all of their feedback. They hated it so much. So you have your answer, and I'm curious. Drop something in the comments. Which one did you think was the best? Did you agree with the judges? I'm super curious to hear what you think.